because you're so into like what it means to be a human and what it means to be like connected with other people,
to listen,
to engage,
yes.
to be passionate.
Yeah.
God, they're playing Garden of Eden out there, and I'm just like,
yeah. We're doing it live here. We're doing it live.
No, it's live.
Hi, Kate.
I'm PJ Brescia, they, them pronouns, your host of the BabyGay Podcast and the founder of the BabyGay community, celebrating the coming out process through storytelling, advocacy, and togetherness. I came out later in life and I knew nothing about queer culture. I'm still not an expert, so let's go on a journey of self-discovery together with amazing guests, diverse coming out stories, LGBTQI plus history, and everything in between. This is the BabyGay Podcast. Coming out looks good on you.
Hi, welcome back to the BabyGay Podcast. I am your host, PJ Brescia, they, them pronouns, and we are here at a very special Pride edition. We're live at the Girls, Gays, and Theys BabyGay Pride Party, and I am sitting down with the wonderful Jake Scott-Thomson, aka Soul Purpose. Hello.
Hello.
How's
Thank
it
you
going?
for having me. I'm good. Good. I'm at like quarter life battery with this Pride month, but we're good.
But it's so crazy because it's like we just started, right? And then I'm already dead.
It's very front loaded for me.
Yes.
Like there's a lot at the front, and then I've got a wedding on the third week, and then I have like nothing going on, and I can't wait.
Does it feel like this year started a lot earlier?
Well, yes, because Pride festivities started on May 30th, and then there was May 31st.
Yeah.
And then it was actually June. It was kind of funny that we were just kind of somersaulting into June 1st.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people had already done Pride by that point.
Long Beach Pride. It was the first time I did Long Beach Pride, which was like mid-May. I was like, oh, okay, we're here.
They just get earlier and earlier
seriously.
Every year.
And then World Pride is happening right now.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Also, isn't it kind of hilarious that it's happening in DC?
I was texting a friend and was like, the irony is hilarious. And he used to live there.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's actually an amazing city. And I don't know a whole lot about DC.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's an amazing city. And I was like, that's so funny that you can think of Washington, D.C. outside of the view of politics. Yeah. But it is its whole like own community.
Totally.
And I don't know, it was refreshing to hear that and that people are excited to go there, because there's been a lot of like talk about like I'm nervous about it being in DC this year, and honestly like it looks like it's been going off without a hitch and a lot of fun. But I do want to shout out Pride starting early. We were still going off here in LA for Out Loud Music Fest and with Summer Tramp. Like that's where I was playing last weekend.
Saw
and
you.
Yes, and we were there together.
Yes.
And it was lit.
It was so fun.
It was good. Even if it's starting early in our minds, like the intention was there and it was a perfect time, and I'm happy that it happened when it did.
Me too.
Because it was great.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first time at Out Loud Music Festival in West Hollywood.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my jam.
It was incredible.
It was good.
Like they transform West Hollywood into a music festival, like a whole like festival grounds.
It's legit.
Yeah.
I've seen it go from like being a lot smaller than it was to being what it is, and it's just like immaculate now. Like it's incredible to see the scale that they're doing it on. There's so much chatter about like what it is, and standing there out in the crowd, I was like, this is it. Like it was legit. Like watching Shy Girl, watching Paris Hilton, seeing Lizzo. Like you couldn't ask for more.
Yeah,
it was great musically. All over the place. But that's what I love. It's like a little something for everybody.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about your journey with music.
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny is that a couple people have asked me this in the last few days about like, oh, when did you start DJing? And it's interesting. Like I started making like just really bad mashups of like Nicki Minaj and like Sleigh Bells songs like on virtual DJ software, for anybody who knows about virtual DJ. On my computer, they are private recordings on my SoundCloud. Like they're still there, but I don't know. I grew up in a household of music. Like my dad was Ozzy Osbourne's tour manager growing up. Yeah, really interesting. So I was always like on the sidelines of watching like supreme heavy metal throwdown. And I just remember the feeling of being on stage and seeing the crowd interacting with that and like just being enamored with what it is. And you know, I went to school for theater. I went to school for musical theater for a bit, and then I was like, this isn't the career for me. I don't think. I don't know. It's a tough business. But performing at its core was always like in my purview. Like it was always going to be something that I was doing. And I really feel like I have like dropped into my niche, like finding what it is with DJing and with music. And I've just, since I was a kid, I've always been a huge fan of like disco and house. Like I attribute that to my mom for sure, for showing me that and for really showing me the reins there. She used to have something with me on Saturdays called Disco Saturday Night, where she would put on Music Choice on the TV, and she bought me a bunch of disco lights and lasers and stuff, and we just like set it up in the living room. And then all these years later, she's like, why are you always like out till the middle of the morning? I'm like, because you were setting up Disco Saturday Night in our house, like priming me for the weekend. Like, what are you talking about?
You made this. You built this.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
It's good. There's a lot like that I think fed into who I am and what I am, but I love every part of it.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from LA. Okay. I'm from LA County. I don't want to get it twisted. Yeah. I'm from Santa Clarita. Okay. I grew up out there.
Yeah.
I went to school in Orange County, Cal State Fullerton. That's where I was doing musical theater training.
Wow.
And then I moved back to Hollywood after that, and really found who I am out here.
So were you pursuing the musical theater career, let's say?
Yeah. Yes. I was, but for a short time.
Okay.
I think going through a training program kind of like hardened me a little bit to that industry and what it is, because it is cutthroat. Like, it is hard out there. I truly think like if I were to show where my talents are, it would definitely be in music selection and being a selector and not, you know, I wasn't great at ballet, jazz, and tap. I have 2 left feet. As much as people might think I can get down on the dance floor, like I cannot technically get down on the dance floor. I leave that to my very talented dancer friends. But it's tough. It's you got to be a triple threat out there, and you know, I can sing and barely dance and kind of act, and I think I just found out for myself like maybe that wasn't the career for me, but so blessed still nonetheless, because I think being in theater makes you a good person.
Totally.
Like a good human. Yeah. Like, because you're so into like what it means to be a human and what it means to be like connected with other people.
To listen,
to engage, to be passionate. Yeah. God, they're playing Garden of Eden out there, and I'm just like,
we're doing it live here. We're doing it live.
No, it's live. Yeah. But I'm glad I landed where I did.
Totally.
And like so many friends from that world too, like they're like coming out to shows and supporting and loving it too. And I don't know. I think I landed on my feet. Like, I think.
Yeah, well, I kind of, because for me, I'm a little woo-woo, but, you know, I've been on this journey and I started down the acting path and I liked it. I learned so much about it, talk about like listening. And I think everyone should take improv. I was so scared shitless of it. I'm not the best improv at all, but like I learned so much about just like letting go and stop like caring and just like go with it. But like, it's the journey. It's like, you have to take one step at a time. And it's like, I think each part of our career paths will lead to the next thing, and for me, I'm finding it, and it did not happen overnight. Like you have to go through the process of learning what you like and what you don't like.
Soul, like for that career, 100%. Like and leave it on stage every night, like wild. Socially, emotionally, mentally exhausting of a career, but very rewarding when you find your place.
Definitely.
For sure. Also. A burp came up while I was sitting here.
Confirmation burp. Hello.
Sign of life.
Yes. We have to cover your coming out story.
Okay, let's do it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I grew up in theater. You know that intimately now. But was friends with all the theater gays and really, really looked up to a lot of very talented people who were a part of that circle. And I just like had the hots for someone from another school.
Yeah.
You spoke about improv, actually. I was on the improv team. Our improv team was like legit.
Good.
Like we would sell out the house.
Wow.
And
what was the name?
well, it was Saugus High School improv team.
Oh, okay.
There
You didn't
wasn't
have, like a kooky name? No? Okay.
We were not like Zip Zap
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we didn't have a special name, but there was somebody from another school, part of kind of the theater group of people, and he was a mutual friend, and I was just very like attracted to him, and we would have interactions that like definitely confirmed how attracted we were, and we would hang out, and it would be very platonic, but like wrongfully platonic.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out at my house, in my room one night with the door closed, and I don't know who did, but one of us leaned in for a kiss, and nothing ever felt more right.
Yeah.
It's like it's like my whole life had been like off the track until that point. It felt like, and then it felt suddenly aligned right there.
Yeah.
And
how old were you?
I think I was 15.
15. Okay.
Yeah. And then the next day, went to school excitedly and told my best friend, and but it wasn't easy. Like it's not. My mom is like BFF, like, but it was a hard pill for her to swallow, I think. She, knew a lot of gay people in her early years and had a hard time digesting maybe how difficult or consequential that would be for me. But I mean, her and I came to common ground, and I really want to shout out my brother too, because, when I was having a tough time with it, my brother took me out to lunch just to hang out and chat, and then, was driving me back to my house because I couldn't drive myself at that age, and was just like, I love you, and I know what's going on with you, and I'm really proud of you for being yourself. And
so he basically, you didn't come out to him. He knew already.
I think he had been told.
He'd been told. Okay, he'd been told. Got it.
But, it wasn't a complete walk in the park, and it's not going to be a walk in the park for everybody.
Yeah.
But there is the other side of it, and I would obviously never go back again. But, the journey was imperfect, but I'm grateful for it because I think it has brought me and my family closer than before.
Me too.
Even if there were bumps in the road, like, I'm thankful for them because they mean a lot.
Totally.
And they've colored my journey, and my journey has been colorful.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's so incredible.
Thank you.
So we share with our audience media that was helpful for you during your coming out, books, movies, TV, film, podcast.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga is a huge inspiration for me. I've got a monster tattoo on here that maybe you can't see, but Lady Gaga and just really like throwing it down for the gay community or the queer community, the LGBT. I love playing music for queer people. Like it seriously like gasses me up beyond belief more than anything else. And I get booked on a lot of random stuff too, and nothing breathes life into me more than giving it to the queer community and having those perfect kind of dance floor euphoria moments too.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's amazing. Did you see Gaga at Coachella?
100%.
Was that?
I've rewatched it 1,000 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
The best.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the BabyGay Podcast. Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at Soul Purpose. It's S0UL Purpose. Working on getting the actual name.
Yep.
And then SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Soul Purpose World. And that's spelled without the zero on SoundCloud.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, go
Thank
check
you.
out Soul Purpose. So incredible. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank you
appreciate
for coming. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
We're so grateful for so many of our incredible sponsors. One of them you can find at the bar outside is Sweet Gwendolyn French Gin. Sweet Gwendolyn French Gin is a deliciously mischievous French gin, a unique taste with smooth, warm entry, bursting with citrus and warm black pepper finish, best served in a dry martini. In LA, you can purchase a bottle of Sweet Gwendolyn French Gin at Barkeeper, Eggs and Wine, High Time, and other locations in Southern California. Please visit them at sweetgwendolynfrenchgin.com, or you can find them on Instagram at Sweet Gwendolyn French Gin. We are live at the Girls, Gays, and Theys BabyGay Pride Party here at Be True Studios. This episode is sponsored by OutCare Health. It's an affirming directory of providers specifically for the queer community. And today I'm sitting down with one of my dear friends, Charlie Sprinkman, who is the founder of Everywhere is Queer, an incredible app, a worldwide directory of queer-owned businesses.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. I'm in LA, baby.
Yes, you are. Finally.
I know.
We've been chatting for a long time.
Yes.
We met through mutual friends.
Yeah, on a work call.
In a work call.
Yeah.
And it was an instant connection. I felt like everything you're doing is, it blows me away.
Thank you.
Tell me more about where the app idea came from, the foundations of Everywhere is Queer.
Yeah. You know, I'm from small town Wisconsin, so I have just hold such a big piece of my heart for like small town America, people that live in small towns anywhere in the world as a queer person. But in 2019, I had a crazy job. I went to 41 of the 50 states as a rep for an organic beverage company and was freshly out, and I was just seeking queer spaces. And so I was Googling like queer spaces in this city, and I just wasn't really finding anything.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like seeded the idea. And then 2021, I was volunteering at Brave Trails, a queer youth leadership camp outside of LA. And
love Brave Trails.
Yeah, they're so
Shout
amazing.
Out Brave Trails,
Seriously, like camp for 12 to 18-year-old queer youth. It's like so amazing. And leaving Brave Trails, which was like 100 queer people for 10 days, it was just such a euphoric experience. Like pronouns and names. It's just like everyone was so amazing.
It's like a euphoric place.
Like for queer people. Like I hope that our world will get like that one day.
Yeah.
But leaving Brave Trails, I was like, how can I create that euphoric experience at a global scale?
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to connect the queer community with spaces that see us as our most authentic selves. Yep. And to me, that was queer-owned businesses.
Yep.
And so that turned into a worldwide map of queer-owned businesses. And I Googled it, and I couldn't find anything. Yeah. And so January 2nd, 2022, I launched Everywhere is Queer, a worldwide map of queer-owned businesses.
That is that's unbelievable. So
Thanks.
Wild.
Thanks.
I mean, it's taken off like gangbusters.
Yeah, I'm full-time.
Full-time.
Yeah.
You should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah.
So many people start
wild.
businesses and, don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So give some stats about where it's at right now.
Yeah. We're at 19,000 queer-owned businesses on our platform. We're growing at 100 to 200 applications a week. Globally. 26 different categories: lawyers, dog walkers, trades industry, therapists, hair salons, tattoo artists, you name it. We have a category for you to filter. So we have since developed an app that went live a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It's called Everywhere is Queer. It's available on iOS and Android, available globally.
Go download it.
It's free. And I'll just plug here, if you are a queer-owned business and you're listening, you'll apply via the profile tab of our app. It's free to join.
That's truly special, especially in a time right now where, things are going backwards and our community is a little bit scared.
Totally.
So finding those resources throughout the world, not in just the United States, is so important.
Yeah, I mean, queer community saved my life, and I don't say that lightly. Like, I truly found my most authentic self and like the true Charlie when I was around queer people. Yeah. I felt so seen. I felt so heard. I felt so loved. I felt so accepted. Yeah. My whole life people have been like called me a woman because of my higher voice, and I have so much voice dysphoria. And at Brave Trails, never once was I called a woman. 2 weeks ago, I was called a woman in Portland, Oregon, where I live. It's like the Uber driver was like, "Have a nice day, young lady." It's just like, I get this like almost all the time, and today it doesn't affect me much, but my whole life, I mean, as like a little kid, it did,
Yeah.
And so when I enter queer spaces, that's where I was never misgendered or anything like that. So I mean, our mission is to connect the queer, trans, and ally community with safer spaces locally and globally, all while supporting queer entrepreneurs, So
Going back, tell us about your coming out experience.
Yeah. You know, I was raised Catholic conservative in rural Wisconsin, so it's been a journey. I came out at 21, so 2021, I was a junior in college. I went to college in Colorado. I had an amazing group of friends who I'm still friends with today. And I slowly came out to each and every one of them, like one at a time. But I did come out in college 6 months before I came out to my family in Wisconsin. So it was like living the two lives for a second there, which I think a lot of queer people do.
Totally.
Yeah, that's I came out. I mean,
Did you have a coming, for me, I was out to myself. Like first step was coming out to myself. So then I was out to myself for like a year before I even really shared it with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Did you have anything like that?
You know, I lost my best friend. And when that happened, when she passed away, that was the day I came out because I said life is so fragile.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. I miss her every single day. And that was the moment. Because I had told her 2 weeks prior that I was gay. And then I lost her. And that was like my impetus to be like, wow, life is so fragile. Yeah. I want to be out. Like, if I'm going to die, I want to die knowing that I was out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, everyone has kind of a different, not turning point or like a catalyst or something that kind of helps them move forward. And that's a painful one. So
horrible.
I'm so sorry for that. Was there what media during that coming out process was helpful for you? Because we like to share that with our audience. Books, movies, TV shows, podcasts. I
mean, your classic shows on Netflix and stuff that just showed like gay representation. You know, I can't even think of like one off the top of my head right now, but like anything that had like a gay character, I was like, I would rewatch over and over and over and over again. Yeah. It's truly wild how much impact those queer characters had on the viewership.
100%.
You know, like, and most of those people weren't even queer by that age, you know, or like that era of filming and stuff. Totally. But still, I mean, it was such a big impact, you know? Yeah. And I felt so alone, you know, like I feel I'm part of the generation where the internet came to be when I was like 12 maybe. And so, you know, below that, we didn't have the internet. Like I would still have the flip phones, you know, we were still like, I mean, the internet was around, but we didn't have iPhones in our pockets, you know.
Not as easily accessible.
Totally. And the social media was not what it is today. Right. And yeah, I feel like as queer people, you know, you're older than me, you know, and like you, when you were 12, like felt probably so alone because you didn't have the internet to be like, look at all these gay people, you know, and queer people.
100%.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, with the representation in the media at that time, I also was called a girl throughout my early childhood, which was painful. And that's a whole nother, you know, journey. But with the representation in the media, I didn't, you know, the super sassy gay friend, like I didn't feel that was me and I didn't align with that. So I think what's so important now and what I want to do with the Baby Gay platform is kind of like show more representation that people are queer in all walks of life, all backgrounds. There's no one way to be queer.
Not at all.
So, and especially, and also there's no one way to come out. Like everyone has a coming out journey and it's different. And it's really important to just share those stories.
Totally. You know, it's like I'm just getting to play volleyball again, and everyone called me gay for playing volleyball in high school, you know, and tennis. And I'm like, wow, I like now that I'm playing as like a confident adult now, I'm like, this is so fun. Like I love volleyball, you know. And
what about your journey with prides? You know, we're in Pride season now. Tell us about that.
This is going to be my first like big city pride ever.
Wow.
I've never been to like LA, New York for a pride, Chicago even. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin suburbs. I haven't even been to Milwaukee Pride. I've like lived in small mountain towns for like after college. So I was at these like small mountain town prides. Shout out Bend Pride in Oregon. But yeah, no, I have not been to that many prides in my life.
Now you're out. You're, you know, building an incredible app about very publicly out. How does it feel going back to these smaller places in your life and kind of almost feeling like a different person?
You know, there's a queer coffee shop on my platform in my hometown that I did not know existed until I launched my platform. And I just think about going back to Pewaukee, Wisconsin, and if I would have known of this queer coffee shop that's been around for like 20 years, when I was in high school, I really wish, because I wish I knew I had a resource like mine, because just to even as a closeted kiddo, to go sit at a queer coffee shop and see queer people exist and having jobs would have changed my life,
Totally.
you know? And so, but yeah, now going back, I'm like confident as hell now, you know, I'm gay as hell, you know, and it feels good to go back and just be my most authentic self. But I still feel myself like shrivel up a little bit, you know?
Totally.
Like putting on the board shorts instead of a Speedo.
Totally.
You know?
No, I mean, I find that when I go into other places that are less progressive, I go in with a progressive mindset and forget that the whole world's not like that.
Totally.
So it is eye-opening.
Yeah. It's been a journey with my family and stuff, you know, but the majority of them are very, very supportive.
Yeah.
My mom rocks a Everywhere's Queer bumper sticker on the back of her car in rural Wisconsin.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're so proud of you.
I mean, I'm so grateful for her. So
yeah. And I mean, you and some of your family, you work with some of your family?
Yes,
right?
My sister's my admin assistant.
That's
She's amazing.
Incredible.
So grateful for her.
Yeah. Now, what advice would you give your younger baby gay self?
Advice, I would be like, I had such big emotions as a little kid and they were shamed a lot by my family. Like it was always like, don't cry as much, like stop reacting so big. And I would just be like, feel those feelings like bigger, you know, like I was just shamed for feeling my feelings as a kid, as a boy, you know, and I'm just like the advice would be like, just know in 20 years, like you're gonna have gone through so much therapy and like you're feeling your feelings. Yeah.
And also, I mean, now to the gender side of things, like that's a journey. And, you know, for me, I came out as a non-binary at 31 and had that, you know, running from myself because, so, you know, earlier on, being called a girl, feeling so much shame for that. I was at camp, my counselor like pulled me aside. He's like, you're the most feminine one here. I'm like, okay. At that time, that was like the worst thing he could have said to me at that time.
Totally.
And then it was just, you know, I'm like, I want to be as feminine as possible. But it's also I think about non-binary is there's no rules. Like literally we're the non-binary. So it's like one day if you want to, because I struggle with this in the sense of like, I was running from my masculinity, then I was really embracing my femininity, then I was kind of ashamed of being masculine again. So like, what advice do you have for those folks with their gender journeys?
I mean, be kind to yourself. It's a journey, you know, and find the people that allow you to express yourself however you want to express yourself. Whether that be behind closed doors and you're in your room with your friend who's just like, wear whatever the fuck you want to wear. Find those people. And I know that's not easy. It's easier said than done, you know? And if you don't have community and you're trying to find community, download our app and reach out to the business owners. Send them an email. They know people. They're a queer person in your community. Like, try to be friends with them. They're probably not all going to be able to have capacity to be friends with you, but like, reach out to these people. You know, these are queer people in your community. But find those people that just see you as your most authentic self. You know, it's, again, not easy, but you can do it. There are people out there that in your community that will love you. Even at, in your 30s, 36, you're still, you know.
Every day is a new part of the journey.
Exactly. So like as a 36-year-old, 28-year-old, like we're every day, I'm like, so we're all just on this journey together. There's no end point here, you know?
One of our segments, we call it My First Time.
Okay.
You kind of share a first kiss, crush, date. One of the first like experiences.
Ooh, okay. Well, see, I was like hooking up with guys in high school, but that was so deeply closeted.
Or how about first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush. You know me. I don't know any pop culture. I'm like Zac Efron. His brother now.
Oh my God.
Dylan, call
Seriously,
me. Dylan, if you're listening,
on.
you can text me, please. I mean, I know you're straight, but I will hang out with you.
And BabyGay is here for you, Dylan.
Everywhere's Queer supports you.
We all support you. We should have just a collab meeting as soon as possible. Well, thank you so much.
I'm so grateful.
I can't wait we'll like dive deeper when you come in at the Black Cat. But I really appreciate you coming and supporting. You've been so incredible on this event. You've helped me so much at this event.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. And I'm so in awe of you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, right back at you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another one of our incredible sponsors is Hi-Yo Social Tonic. Hi-Yo Social Tonic delivers a refreshing 0% ABV mood boost with its USDA organic blends of adaptogens, neurotropics, and fruit-forward flavors. Your stress-relieving float in every can. I'm sitting down with a dear friend of mine, Rafael Parra.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
So when I think about you, you're literally all over the world nonstop. And have you been to many prides around the world?
It was the first time I was in LA, actually, since I lived here for Pride, because somehow I'm always traveling for work.
Yes.
I've done Pride in Sao Paulo, in London, basically the places where I lived.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do those different cities do prides differently?
Well, Sao Paulo is very interesting because it is, in fact, the biggest pride in the world. On Avenida Paulista, we have 3 million people show up.
Wow.
And it's a family event. London is very interesting too, but it's much smaller. But I feel there's no place like West Hollywood.
Yes, I agree. I actually went to London Pride. I forget which year it was, but I was still closeted. But it was like on the cusp of me coming out, and I was with straight friends, but I was like really feeling it. And I was like, this is very fortuitous that I'm here right now. But just being in the Pride kind of energy is such a beautiful feeling. And I think for everyone, like people, obviously the queer people, but like allies too, I think they see how important it is that we celebrate queerness. What has been kind of like your journey with coming out? Like, let's talk about, when did you come out?
I came out, I was about 21, 22. I did an internship. I lived in London at the time, and that's where I went to college. And then I got an internship with a big tech firm in Barcelona. So I called my parents. I said that I was going. My mom was divorcing my dad. So she said, I'll come along. I want to reconnect with my roots. Her parents are from Spain, / she wanted to keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
So I said, as long as you get your apartment, come along.
Yeah.
And so we spent 3 months together. We got really close, and it was really wonderful. We went on a walk on the beach, and I came out to her. And of course, being my mom is very passionate, Brazilian, Latina, fiery woman. Like, that conversation didn't go the way I had hoped that it had gone. But eventually, we made peace, and she came to terms with her youngest son being gay, and it was okay. But it took me, until I was 21, 22. Yeah.
Did you come out to yourself first, would you say?
Yeah, I did. I moved to London when I was 18, and then by then I worked in fashion, and then I had my peers that were gay, and my brother lived in London at the same time, so I felt somebody was watching, and I really couldn't be myself 100% of the time, but I found community, I found friends that I was comfortable with, and I came out to myself. Yeah.
This comes up, I want to know what your thoughts on this. Like, for me, I moved to California. I'm from New York originally. I moved to California kind of on a whim, and I found myself going on this journey, and I feel like what I've noticed is that a lot of people kind of have an easier time coming out when they're out of their like home space, like kind of getting out of the nest, exploring what's out there in the world. Do you find that's important?
That's so true.
Important? Yeah.
It would have been easier for me if I didn't have family and close family friends that were in London at the time. So I felt very much it was, under their watch. Yeah. Which was great, because at 18 in a big city, you want to have sort of an extended family.
Totally.
But hadn't it been for that scenario, I think it would have been made easier for me to come out. But yeah.
When you were going through the coming out process, we kind of share with our audience media that was important and helpful for you through that journey. Books, movies, TVs, podcasts. Like, was there anything that sticks out?
I think Will and Grace was on at the time, and I remember watching it for a bit of humor and relief, but it felt very much, there were two gay men that were depicted very differently. Yeah. And then it felt there was nothing in between, or no other. Right. But then in my group of friends in London, I think I was very lucky to live in a big city and then be able to be exposed, especially in the fashion world, to have representation in many shapes and forms. Yeah. Which was great. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your journey in the fashion world?
Well, I worked both as a model and in fashion retail when I was in college. Yeah. So it was interesting because I was so in my head and so closeted that even when everyone around me was gay, I was like, no, I'm not. And like they could see it, and they were sort of trying to push me to come out. And I think in the best possible way, but I think until you're comfortable within yourself, you create that prison in your mind that only you can liberate yourself from.
Totally.
So it took me a little while, but the more comfortable I felt in the environment that I found myself in, and then eventually I found myself, and it was great. Yeah, to have them around me to support.
So were you comfortable being a male model? For example, like when I was a closeted high schooler, had this weird wanting to be a model, but I was like started that process, but I was also ashamed because I didn't want people to think I was gay. And like, how did you navigate that?
Well, to me, it was funny because I sought validation in other forms because I didn't get it from my peers or my family or my father. So getting paid for the way I looked in a way it was validating and it made me feel good about myself if I were to psychoanalyze and the whole thing. But then modeling or the fashion industry, not for everybody, but it's definitely not one of the most wholesome industries to grow up in. I remember being in a casting and somebody sort of asking me to see my underwear for a potential underwear shoot, and I was like, well, I was here for like the shirt commercial, not the underwear. So just, and when you're that young and stuff, you learn to protect yourself so you can encounter some funny
I mean, people in like the casting couch is like a real thing. It's like
but luckily I was never found myself in that scenario, and I don't mean to take a turn in this conversation, but that's where my mind went.
Yeah, totally. So one of the segments that we do on this podcast is called My First Time. So we talk about our first queer crush, our first queer date, queer sexual experience. Tell us about one of your firsts.
So I was a sophomore in high school, and there was a senior who was 6'3" and muscular and beautiful, and him and I became friendly, and I actually needed help after school for like math or whatever the class was, so he offered to help, so we would meet in the library, and he was I think he was out, or at least I knew that he was gay and he was okay with it, and maybe he could sense that I was. So we spent many afternoons in the library where he would help me out, and I'd be sitting there like dreaming about us kissing or something. So eventually, months after this sort of dance, I worked up the courage, and he invited me over to his grandma's house, and then we were hanging out somehow in the garage, and then we sort of like took a moment to kiss, and that was I was 15 at the time.
And what, like, how did you feel?
Oh my gosh. So I was so nervous about that first kiss that I had taken this chewing gum that had like a GUI center. I don't know if you guys have that here in the US. I forget the name of the thing. But anyway, I thought, I wanted to make sure that I smelled and tasted good.
Yeah.
So immediately as we started kissing, he stopped and he was like, Raf, you taste of like raspberry. Take that thing off. And I was like, oh my God, it's my first kiss. Be gentle. And I remember being so embarrassed, but finally we got there. And but it was great. It was great on the bus.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Where can people find you?
At Rafael Parra, Rafael_Parra. On Instagram.
Oh, I mean, we have to quickly talk about the Boys of Tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's actually how we probably our friendship really developed. And I miss running the nonprofit that it was so close to my heart, and it is. It's just, I work in tech, and that predominantly takes so much of my time. But the Boys of Tomorrow, fundamentally, it's a platform very much like yours to support queer youth in their journey of coming out or to find community online. And the Instagram handle, if anybody's interested in finding out, is at the Boys of Tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy Pride.
You too.
Today, we're sponsored by Green Queen. They're opening up a beautiful new store in West Hollywood, right in the heart of WeHo. Truly eye-catching, right in the heart. So you must go check them out. This has been so much fun. This is our first live episode at an event, and it's been such an incredible experience. I am so grateful for all of you. And this has been a journey where we're just sharing coming out stories, sharing that there's no right way to be queer, and we're all in this together. So please stay tuned for awesome interviews coming. You can follow us on BabyGay TV on YouTube. The podcast is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're at BabyGay TV on all social platforms, and we have really great things in store. So check us out on social. Our website's baby.gay. I really, truly feel honored to be here and to be sharing queer stories and sharing queer joy in this wild time, because we need to rely on each other and this community to keep us moving forward and keep us celebrating and sharing this queer joy that we all need right now. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful Pride season and stay safe, and coming out looks good on you.